you tell me what a typical day is when you're directing an episode of an animated show?
Typical day. I can tell you the process. I don't know about a typical day.
Tell me the process.
The process is you get the script, read the script, and I break it down into sections and for a handout, storyboard handout, maybe make notes on the script for my storyboard artists while we're going over it. Go through the handout meeting where we sit down and break down the script and with the producers or the writers at times, or it's just me sometimes. It depends on the show and how it's run. So break down the script, and then I'll point out to this part needs so and so shot, not specifically the shot, but this kind of feeling, or this needs to build up to some sort of moment. You need to hit this point. This is a hero moment or whatever. So we'll break down on what the script needs and what models we have and how to use them. And then I'll hand off to the storyboard artist. Depending on the show, I'll sit with sometimes the designers and what they have in mind and what they have, and like, I need something. The script calls for this, so I need it to look a certain way, or the layout needs to be a certain way. So I'll go back and forth between that and the designers, and sometimes I'll have questions for the writers. Again, it depends on the production. Each production is run differently. And then I'll either work on that episode if I'm storyboarding along with that episode, or I'm working on revisions on a previous episode, or I'm in another process going through shipping or timing on another one. It depends. I'm usually juggling a few episodes at a time, whether it's an animatic phase, storyboard rough phase, storyboard revision phase. Sometimes I go to recordings, so it all varies along the way. Like I said, it's a big process.
So you've also worked on an animated movie, Batman one, right? Or Superman Batman one?
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about how different that is as opposed to? Is it other than it being longer? How different is that than working on an episodic show?
So that is different. The length is obviously different. I don't have to juggle and worry about as many episodes in different processes at the time. So, but for working on Superman in the Elite versus the Elites, it was a very different process in this. In the respect that it was that happened very quickly. I was coming off the Young Justice. They needed a director, and they told me, or they asked me if I wanted to do the Superman movie, and I told them I would. And the process is very different, where that movie was shipped overseas for a lot of pre-production work, as far as models, backgrounds, storyboards. So typically a lot of the shows I've worked on is a lot of in-house artists, where you can go to the storyboard artists and see what they're doing, getting feedback. Same with the designers. Whereas that production, 80% of it maybe took place in Japan. So they flew me out to Japan that week when they hired me. I met with the Animation Studio, TMS. So I sat in a small room and we broke down the script. They had a lot of questions on models and the transition, or the language barrier was an interesting and cultural cultural barrier was an interesting hurdle
Have
to
a
jump over.
translator for you there? Or?
Yes, they had a translator, and they also, the president of TMS was very good at English, so they would ask me questions on models and storyboards and not understanding some cultural differences in how things are told thematically. I think it's storyboarding can be very how do I describe it? It can be universal and it can be very cultural too, where cultural norms in America are different from cultural norms in Japan, and what they look for and how to tell a story can be very different. And translating the models and how they work can be very different.
This guy, keeping him
So tell me, how do you see your career going in the future? What do you hope to accomplish?
What do I hope to accomplish?
Is there are there any goals that you have set that you haven't yet achieved?
Yeah, I would like to. There's a lot of things I'd like to do. I'm still interested in comics. I'd love to be able to do a graphic novel someday. I'd love to get my own show produced. I have pitched shows, and that's a whole nother process in the animation industry. There are plenty of things for me to look forward to.
Do you want to do feature animation one day?
Yeah, I would not say no to that. I think that's a whole nother thing to learn. Expectations on feature and just to work on something of that scale would be a great experience. Not opposed to it. I don't know. I guess I'm. I think part of life is going to get things and then letting things come to you too, and figuring out how to navigate. It's not something I've set out. Hey, I want to work on a movie. But if the opportunity came, I wouldn't say no.